Like, that's a lot of damage that you can put out. Morphling really needs those first early levels secured, and then you stomp every lane. Every strength offlaner is kind of your bread and butter because you out-damage them so heavily that you can just deny every creep in front of their face.
Curious how much the Wyvern will be able to help. I'm sure Splinter Blast has its perks going against Beastmaster with his little critters if they happen to be nearby. But, you know, one bad positioning of a Cold Embrace, let's say, and that Morphling could find himself in a bit of trouble. As we get underway, a little bit of wardage here to block out some side camps. Our mid lane matchup, Death Prophet versus Medusa. Educate me a bit on how that matchup goes. We've known Death Prophet to really be pretty high tier in the mid lane as of this meta. Medusa has had showings here and there. You know, does she have problems with the Soul Siphon, being able to get away from that?
Yeah, I think she actually struggles a little bit in the laning phase. I think we've seen it 2 times so far in this league alone, and both times the DP won. But I believe in those games, the Dusa ended up winning in the end.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I think my memory's okay. At least the one game that I remember, the DP crushed the lane but ended up losing the game.
Certainly DP going along with the move fast, move quick mantra of play style, hoping to take objectives on the earlier side of things, while Medusa is hoping to be there at the curtain call, you know, the back end of the game to really shine forward. I know it's really early to say, but do you think this is going to be a game where Medusa might have to consider really ramping up the damage a la Rapier style, or can she build a bit different?
I think she can go Rapier this game. Just depends on how well her lanes go, and I guess how early they take Roche. But I do like Gambit's team fight. I feel like they have a ton of team fight. I just don't know how this off lane goes. I think that Weaver in game feels pretty bad to play against Bloodseeker just because you're a hero that gets really low. But I think Pango 4 might change that.
We definitely saw a lot of success for the Pango, at least in the last game. Here a bit different as Roger and FNG dance around a bit. Roger going for the pull. And with Coddle getting the first level in Blinding Light, he can try his best to bump him back a bit, but ultimately, okay, well, he does get the D ward. Nice little grab there, but Pango's already done the pull at this front, and Weaver will be left to kind of poke at the Bloodseeker in the meantime here. So it's a bit awkward for Coddle. He can't really do much about this. Stop that! But ultimately, we'll have to let this one slide.
He's hitting him a lot, though. He got him lower than I expected. But Roger is going to drag the creep wave into the next creep wave. I think. No, he's actually just going to bring it into the tower, which is a little bit surprising. Most of the time, people will try to deny it on the next wave so that the enemy gets no experience. This will give Roger an uncontested level 2, but this also just gives Dream a huge level advantage in the safe lane. Yeah,
at least the Weaver's there to kind of poke him a bit, or at least make the last hitting a bit more difficult. But you are right. Leaves a Bloodseeker in a good spot to kind of at least get as much CS in as he can. Bottom lane, Wyvern. Obviously seeing the Tusk nearby, trying to deal with him on the side front, but both cores are left to their own devices in the laning stage at the time being. Morph has 8 CS to Bloodseekers, or not Bloodseekers, to Beastmasters 4. Man, he's really fast to pull back the waveform. Really does not want to get caught out by any sort of tag team shenanigans early on.
Ding, ding, ding. I love that noise.
I'm coming for your ass. I'm going to get you. So definitely a warning sign. Okay. There we go. Medusa obviously not the quickest to run away from trouble like that. All 3 of these lanes a bit on the passive side. The kill potential is not crazy, you know. There's stuns, but they need levels to have the stuns in a spot where they feel comfortable really kind of getting action happening here. Maybe FNG, if he's a bit out of position, could be brought down between
Tani's actually hitting GPK a lot. This is what we expected out of the lane. Only 280 move speed. Like, Deuce is one of the lowest in the game. Going to get denied, like, most of that wave, in fact.
Gets a Mango now for the troubles. Eats away at Tango. Has a salve going. Can regenerate up.
But, I mean, Tusk can always come and equalize. I think that will be a play that he eventually decides to make. But he needs another hero, I think, to do it. Like, I don't know if Vampire alone is enough to get a kill. At bottom, looks like Beastmaster's doing okay, but so is Morphling. This is expected. And it's really this top lane that's taking a beating as FNG, easy kill.
Wow. Yeah. Caught a little out of position. Can't get run down. I mean, it's a Funnick Weaver and with Roger also, they both can close gaps. They both can create a quick burst of speed and get damage done. FNG really has to be careful if he's not able to get, you know, even a blinding light off to assist himself. Vampire being pushed back a bit. Looks like the HellRaisers side of things feeling a bit frisky.
Still a goalie though for Gambit.
Yeah, it's looking like Gambit definitely getting a lot. This Bloodseeker's coasting through the laning phase for now, at least, getting the biggest CS so far. These teams have lots of kill potential on their lineups, but obviously it just takes some time before they're going to be able to, you know, take their priorities even to different lanes. Like you were mentioning with the Tusk, Bloodseeker, maybe once he gets his level 6 or his Rupture online.
Sadly enough, Dakota, I think Coddle is like the only hero that is really susceptible to like any sort of early movement.
Yeah, and oh god, there he moves just barely out of the way of a bit of damage. He's just also under the most threat. I feel like he's the frailest one in this game.
Oh, easily. He's like the frailest, but he also does some of the most.
Oh, for sure. Like, yeah, if you forget about the old man and we're getting to team fight central, he'll put in his work. But till that time, he is a very easy target and has to be very cautious. And the good thing for him is that Bloodseeker's doing just fine on his own. He can poke away a bit, but the core is getting what is necessary. Bottom, Beastmaster, 19 and 6. I mean, it's all right. Morphlings, though, getting some good stuff. Beastmaster, though, the lane's pushed forward a bit. And it might be too far, yeah. Shards from afar are cute, but not going to be enough to fend them off.
That was a lot of damage that they put out on the Beastmaster. And the board not really helping him out too much there. Level-wise, it's still pretty even. Once the Morph gets this wave here, he'll have an advantage over the Beastmaster. But only 2 kills so far on the board belonging to HellRaisers.
Okay. Funnick is
he dead?
Frisky. He does not have Sakuchi yet, and he dies. I mean, FNG had been parked in those trees. Maybe he didn't anticipate the Coddle was nearby to pepper the extra bit of damage, but you know, miscalculated, if you will. And meanwhile, we do hear the first
look at how quickly he dies.
Comes off. FNG just happens to stroll by, and he falls down as fast as he shows up. Shards will separate the space there, but all right, now HR just starting to trickle a couple kills.
This is what we saw in the other matchup of Death Prophet versus Dusa. And she can't really defend her tower. This is a really aggressive use of the ulti. I like that Roger came over too to just force her off the lane. Because Dusa wants to go jungle right now, Dakota. Like, she doesn't want to just sit in this lane and static and trade out farm with the Death Prophet. She's losing the lane then.
Dream does show up to that mid lane. They catch Miposhka nearby, hit him with the rupture, sorry, and
Dream's
flies
dead.
to the high ground, and then reinforcements come, and they take him down. Nice heads up from the Wyvern, just taking to the skies and knowing that he'll be safe right there. With a swift rotation, it's Bloodseeker who pays the price.
That's so bad for Dream's game, and it's so good for Miposhka's game. They almost take mid tower, and they happen to get a Weaver kill. This is going to open up Funnick space now. Like,
yes.
He really needed this. He's going to get his level 6 off of this. Keeper of the Light does not like playing against Weaver. Way too mobile.
Oh, no.
Stuns.
Don't like that hero at all.
Yeah.
Certainly not.
The bugs, the double hit.
Oh, Funnick knows it's like, I'm just going to get you, old man. I'm going to get you. He might need help. Otherwise, he's just trouble.
He's getting chased out right now. FNG's going all the way around.
I mean, thankfully, Coddle's pretty fast. They could try to make it away, but
And they take mid tower.
Doing his damnedest to fend off the trouble. Yeah, that tier 1 mid lane goes down, but Funnick's also getting great damage on the top tier 1. Dream has finally shown up, so that will help a bit. But man, you're right. Things seem pretty close up to that point, but suddenly they're taking off. There's the Rupture out. Swift TP.
That's a kill.
Ah, not enough. Good bump back to get him closer for the melee hits.
And also it counts as rupture damage.
Yes, it does.
That's such a cool mechanic.
Fun little synergy there.
So does the roar. The roar pushback will add an additional like 20 damage.
We just need to stack it all and a force staff, and we're really in for a treat. But now that we're seeing the level 6s come online, now the action really begins here. All right, Kasani is rotated. Now that tier 1 in the mid lane's down, let's get some other objectives. To the top lane, she goes with the DD available. And Miposhka also getting in on some of this top lane action. FMG will try to slow them down a bit, but this tower is going to be theirs. And you know, before 10 minutes, you have mid-tier 1, you have top-tier 1. Like, all of the best towers you could ask for Radiant side. And meanwhile, mid lane, bump back. Vampire's able to get out of what could have been a pickle with the cute little shards trick. But I imagine, Blitz, this is how you want to play as HellRaisers, right? Is this a really pedal to the metal kind of lineup?
Yeah, they're grabbing all the towers that they need to. This top tier 1 tower, they've already grabbed the mid-tier 1 tower. The space is going to close in on Gambit really quickly if they don't do something about this. Even though you might have like the better late game lineup, you do have to come scale. You need some time to build up, and I don't know if they're being afforded that space at all. As they're going to make a dive, Morphling's here, they know that keeping the lights there, they're going to Blinding Light, get pushed back, but the dive is coming now.
Oh, he doesn't have the mana for Blinding Light. He's just sitting there getting zucked. Can't do anything about it. Hard to watch almost. I mean, I guess the nice thing for Gambit is bottom lane. They're making some pressure. They do have the roar. It's going to be committed onto the Wyvern, but it's just to lock him in his spot defensively so Dream can try to make a hasty escape, but Funix on the chase should be able to run him down. Can he get the finish? Nice snowball. And he's going to be forced to time-lapse back. Dream has the extra move speed and will make it out of potential trouble. But
yes, but Dream is not having an enjoyable game.
Oh, no, he is not. He's hoping to get blood on his hands from his victims, but he's the one running away weak and wounded every time. And now they're just going to go down to the next lane, bottom, tier 1, and add some pressure here. And, you know, Morph is going to just get some farm time on his own in the top lane.
This is a really good Morphling game, too. Like, there's a lot of different items that are just going to make him really useful. E-Blade is good this game. Lincoln's is exceptionally good for blocking a lot of that single target. Manta's good. He has just a lot of different ways that he can play and build this. And I feel like he's going to be an effective late game threat. Bloodseeker for now wants to get active because he's the better early game core, but he's just not finding anything. Like, we see Dream going around places trying to get kills. Like that time he came level 7 mid to try to pick that one up, and his level game is not, it's not scaling at all. Doesn't really have items.
Yeah, right now he'd be lucky to match kind of where Funnick is resting and the potential for this game. They are going to get a little feather in their cap by taking down that bottom tier 1 and punishing Miposhka for trying to slow down that push. But Gambit will need more. Coddle is level 6, and they do have Will-O-Wisp to work with. And there is plenty of team synergy with that and the Bloodseeker. And, you know, Roar being available. But I'd have to imagine if they're not going to be successful in using these abilities, that the struggle will just continue. And the call's been made, Will. They pop the smoke. It's time to go. What can they do?
This would be a really nice kill.
Okay, Pango,
they run
though.
Into Roger.
Oh, Pango may have just saved potentially Death Prophet, but I spoke too soon. They're going to commit multiple ultis to take her down, and they're successful.
And
can they get
more?
more?
Sure. No.
Roger able to make it away. It's cute. It's good. It's good.
That was really, really aggressive posturing by Kasani. He was really far ahead in front of everyone, and now this is going to give a lot of room to the Medusa, who's the true one in this game.
For sure. Maybe a false sense of security for the Death Prophet having that Pango nearby, but as you mentioned, definitely going to set them back a bit and create a little bit of breathing room for Gambit, and certainly GPK in this instance. But, you know, we are looking at a Morph versus Medusa throwdown, as Morph is building up towards the Manta get up here, and Medusa is matching with the same. All right, bottom lane, where Tusk and Beastmaster reside, and a nearby Bloodseeker. We're seeing rotations from HR, but HR have, you know, since the laning phase, not been too assertive and at least kind of going for fights themselves. They're more content, kind of having more farm up bit and, you know, play around the DP, I suppose. But she does have Exorcism up. So what do you do at this point, Will, when you have pretty much most of the tier 1s acclaimed for, with the exception of the bottom?
I think you smoke towards top.
Smoke towards top.
I really don't like that they got so passive now. I think this is the opposite of what they want. I think they wanted to continue to put the pressure in this game because you don't want Dusa to just AFK farm. Dusa is one of the best late game heroes in Dota, and her timing is going to be really strong in this game if they do nothing about it. They did a good job when they took mid tower, when they took top tower, and they pressured the bottom lane to survive. But now things have gone a little bit passive. I think they're defaulting to farm, whereas Gambit now are just ramping up and taking every single engagement. And this is without their mid tower too. Like, they're just going around the map, making invasions. I really feel as though HR should just smoke towards top.
Well, now it's going to be Gambit possibly catching out HR again. A move onto Roger. The Cold Embrace does help. He gets to the low ground. Kasani steps in with the Soul Siphon, but the damage has been done. They're going to buy back to try to just regain control of this fight. FNG committing in the Will-O-Wisp, and now the Stone Gaze. Kasani trying to run out in a way, manages to get the Yules off, and now reapproaches, and here comes Roger, Funnick, and the rest of the HR gang. They find GPK, they isolate the Medusa, and finish her off. Gambit were not able to get enough done at the start of this fight, and it's going to be HR with the bounce back.
Yeah, and they committed the Rupture on the Death Prophet, who just stood her ground, and they don't have enough burst damage there. They use the Roar to try to kill the Pango, but Roger with a really smart buyback. And I would have liked to see them get a little bit more out of this. A one team fight is good, but if you notice that the gold lead up until the bounty runes that were picked up by them still stood in favor of Gambit. You want to get a little bit more out of this team wipe that you got.
Yeah, and they're not following it up with an objective either. They didn't rush to bomb to make this tier 1 happen, or obviously keep pushing down the mid lane. I guess the nice thing is that Morphling didn't really need to be involved, and he continues to farm up. But as mentioned multiple times, it's Medusa you do have to fear for later on, and you do want to just kind of restrict that Gambit farm sooner than later. Okay, here we go. Mild action here onto Miposhka, who pulls the attention up north. Funnick coming in from behind, sees a chance at making a go at the old man, but he gets hit now with a Rupture, and he'll be forced to step off. Dream?
This is okay, though, because Funnick does have his ulti if he needs it.
Oh, no, it's still 10 seconds.
Okay, never mind.
But he's fine, he's fine. They didn't know that, I guess. They didn't commit too hard for it.
He's still okay. He runs really fast.
Yeah. All of, HR are not easy to kill. Even Miposhka, as we saw earlier, could just fly up and away, has Cold Embrace. They really have to work for it. But just a mild net worth advantage right now for HellRaisers. As we switch to net worth, it is Morphling at the top, but Medusa and Death Prophet just a little bit behind. Since the last engagement, looks like Death Prophet has a plate mail now, and they've spotted out Tusk, who is a bit far from home, behind enemy lines.
They'll even curse for him here.
Curse and Yules, to be sure. He knows too much. Takes him out.
Still aggressive posturing by Gambit. I like it.
Yeah, it's good because, again, it's that whole mantra of, at least when they kill you, they still have to travel all the way across the map to get anything as a follow-up. The objective of choice for HellRaisers is going to be the Roche, it looks like. Yeah, they do have Exorcism, but they're not committing it.
I wonder if Gambit knows this is happening and if they're going to do anything about it. They're trying to TP heroes towards top. They're going to smoke, but they're running out of time. This is going to be dead in about 5 seconds if they're not careful. The Hawk's going to see this and immediately get sniped.
Goes in with the Stone Gaze right into the middle of him, and that's when the Exorcism is going to get committed. The Will-O-Wisp also right in the mix. Pango knocking him back, moving around. The Rupture as Bloodseeker looks to swarm in on Miposhka. He gets the Cold Embrace off, still
Kasani's
inside
just
the
alive.
pit.
GPK's out of mana.
They are just swinging it out right now. Kasani says, I want to go for the big prize, but here comes the Tusk going in with a snowball, tries to grab it, gets it. Vampire takes it away right under her nose. And now Death Prophet in a bit of trouble, forced to self-fuels and runs out the other side. Here comes the second life of Vampire, and it is a hasty retreat for Death Prophet there.
That is a game saver for Gambit. That was very nearly in his hands, but Vampire nabs it right up. He's going to try to get himself using the shards trick over the other side of the wall, but doesn't quite do it. Even though that's an overall teamfight win, they got the gold for the Roshan kill. For Gambit, they really wanted to make sure no one got that Aegis.
Yeah, it would be so unfortunate for Gambit if HellRaisers for the next 5 minutes were able to kind of dictate when the right time was going to be the fight and just slowly take over the map.
And now, you saw GPK just get in, but they don't deal enough damage, and Roger with the perfect pushback around and round. And the silence barely not doing enough.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the credit for GPK was to shove them out of the pit for a while, but other than that, Stone Gaze, it wasn't really a lot to offer. You know,
No.
thank goodness Vampire. Wonderful timing to snowball in and just snag it up.
You can see how tanky the Death Prophet is. Even at like 200 HP.
And because of her low life, that Bloodseeker was just able to Ferrari his way right out of there. So speedy. So it was a wonderful opportunity for Gambit. We'll have to see if they can continue to recoup a bit in this game and how the momentum's playing out. But HellRaisers are already across the river and migrating up north here through Gambit territory, taking away all that neutral camp farm.
Yeah, and with the Dusa not being able to grab the Aegis anytime soon, she's actually decided to go for the Butterfly route, which I think she needs more damage. So Butterfly's not the worst option at all. She really needs damage, though. Like you can see when she fights one-on-one against Kasani, she gets owned.
And now HellRaisers, after kind of taking over this top lane, I imagine will plant a little bit of vision as Nyx will finish out the top tier 2. Credit to Gambit, they're doing the same thing adjacently to the bottom. They'll take out their own tier 2. So a little bit of this for a little bit of that. And some item picks up with the Diffusal Blade done on the Bloodseeker. He looks to coast into a BKB next. That could be really nice, because I imagine in the haze of fighting, it's hard to kind of do as you please as the Bloodseeker.
Yeah, and everything kind of evens out. Both sides get an outpost, both sides get 2 bounty runes. If they want it, actually, this one's still there, but Dream will walk past his. Is there any big items coming up? Morphling has E-Blade, almost a BKB on the Bloodseeker, just one component off. And Medusa's getting sort of close to a Butterfly herself, but I think she needs one more item on top of that to really be a threat.
Yeah. All right, smoked up HellRaisers here. They say it's the time.
Yeah, they've got E-Blade plus Ashivas now on Kasani. Like, they're not really waiting for any other items. For them to have to wait for the Aghanim Scepter on Funnick would slow down the pace of the game almost too much at that point.
I would agree with that. Let's see if HellRaisers can find a way to draw Gambit out from the shadows here, as they have Death Prophet just casually poking away at this tier 2 with a catapult.
Yeah, she's not even popping her ultimate for this.
Yeah. Finally, Gambit are starting to step away, but not before they're able to get a little bit of vision down. That's a free tower for HellRaisers. I think, you know, Gambit have just accepted that. They're surrendering, I imagine, most of their outer towers at this point. GPK.
This would have been... Oh, Roger would have made it with plenty of time.
Wow.
If he started his ulti.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, I think they all TP'd to the same spot, and that was a long TP.
It was quite long and unfortunate. It is going to be Vampire who is the one left behind.
Yeah. If Roger just rolled it up, he would have had it.
All right. Well, back to the boards here for Gambit as they get their jungle back to kind of farm up. If they're allowed at the time to get these next set of items, I'm sure they're going to be happy, as the BKB could be complete for Bloodseeker here. Curious just about the next move of HellRaisers. I think it's mostly on them to get something going.
They want to chase this Deucer around, or where they think she might go next. And in fact, they're going to invade the enemy jungle. They might have seen GPK towards mid, but they think that everybody else is up here. And they'd be correct. Dream is patiently trying to farm his BKB out, but maybe they find him before he's able to.
Oh, they got to find someone. Funnick is far on the side here. They should spot that blast. FNG quick to retreat out, which is the right call. Right under the nose of Funnick.
Mid?
They're being very elusive, but oh, it looks like they finally have spotted their opportunity to go onto GPK.
Snowball, drag him deep.
Yep, bring her out and away from home base. She's forced to turn and fight. Stone Gaze out.
Oh, the Stone Gaze hits Miposhka.
And is great on getting the finish onto Miposhka. Kasani, though, has the exorcism out. Here comes the Will-O-Wisp. There goes the roar. Can they muscle down this DP? Good Lord, she seems quite strong. All right, though, Bloodseeker shows up. He can really muscle it down. The self-fuels is there. Exorcism still in full force. Vampire in a bit of trouble, has to backpedal. Now Medusa goes in with the right clicks, but Nyx is here. The Morphling trying to get the finish onto Medusa. Can't quite get it done. The heal is complete, and it's going to be HellRaisers muscling through Gambit at the end of it. It was really back
Wow.
and forth, but my God, she was blessed with the timing.
The timing on that was perfect for her Ghost to come back to her. She'd done so much damage. And this is mainly just Dusa not willing to commit while the Keep of the Light ult is going. If she doesn't feel like she can fight the Death Prophet at that time, when will you ever feel comfortable fighting her?
And they will pay the price for it.
She stood in the middle of everything. Untouched. Nyx just kind of got to do whatever he wanted, sniped heroes off left and right. They're going to go top for this too. They have plenty of time. Dusa does have buyback, but now you can see that the Rapier's queued up. Being 2 sets of racks behind this early on, I think you have to. The pace of the game is just sped up. And this was with them finding Maposhka to start the fight. That was an immediate 4v5. And they got the Keep of the Light ult, the silence onto Kasani. It didn't feel like it mattered at all.
It just took so much time to get that Death Prophet down. It allowed the Morphling to even come in. Here we'll check the replay.
We can see again. So nice snowball.
You know, Roger's not even in a great position to start that one out. He decides to eject. And Medusa goes ham, gets that kill, and then decides, I want to backpedal, while FNG says, I want to fight.
Yeah, this was probably the most confusing decision for me, because you know that you're going to get mana'd up too. Like, you have, I feel as though you have to commit to this fight.
2 times she goes back and forth. And, you know, it's hard to not call someone out, but definitely the decision-making there was questionable. You know, if FNG's Kyle says, let's go, you got to be in.
I think they would have killed her too if they had fought under the Death Prophet ulti. And then the timing was perfect for Kasani. He heals up. Bloodseeker loses all of his speed.
And we get back into the game. Many new neutral items come falling down now. See spider legs, paladin swords, and such. But HellRaisers now going to be huge at this point, as they have just gained, I imagine, wealth of money, sporting a 9K net worth advantage at this point, taking out 3 racks total, nearly 2 sets. All of them have item upgrades, I imagine. Death Prophet just finished that. Shiva's is now 1 component away from having the full Ags complete. Vlad's, what is our Weaver? Weaver's got the Agnum Scepter now. Oh, boy. So whether you're even trying to get the full focus on your Death Prophet or on your Morph, they pretty much will have an extra life as long as Funnick is alive and nearby.
Yeah, and you're about to have an Aghanim Scepter on your Death Prophet too. Really good timing.
All right, there's a smoke here from Gambit's side. They're holding the high ground positioning, maybe trying to see if Medusa can bait them over. But hesitant HellRaisers not taking the bait. Not feeling comfortable, obviously. A lot of Gambit missing from the map. And
that's a craggy coat now for the Death Prophet.
Yeah, she's not right-clicking, so that's got to be one of the most value items, I imagine.
Yep, plus an Aghanim Scepter. Easy peasy. Okay. FNG barely gets away with the Glimmer.
And now they smoke.
He's got 4 salves, though. From.
Oh, look at this approach. Look at Tusk is behind, Beastmaster's behind. They're trying to split apart HellRaisers if possible, but Vampire just gets totally isolated and finished off. All right, well, that's a killing spree for Kasani, and now it's a 5v4. And Gambit really trying to do some sort of methodical approach at this point. And now they come across the laning phase, or the lanes rather, to finally put some attention towards the bottom lane where this tier 1 has been standing in pristine condition for far too long.
And GPK is going to push out top. He's getting kind of close to his Divine. Like, he's 1 more component off, but HellRaisers are 1.5 racks away from just getting Mega Creeps. They've got the Courier over Roshan. They want to know as soon as it spawns, it will respawn in 40 seconds, so not too long. And maybe they can just go for the game end after that. This Morphling now has even more.
Woo! Barely makes it away. Not quite close enough. Oh, the Yules was even on cooldown. Beastmaster narrowly making it out. Gambit just trying to grab any breath they can away from the base to stall things out a bit.
There we go.
But still, I mean, maybe Rapier territory is like the final Hail Mary of a play for Gambit. You know, you're hoping that it could be a high ground overextension coming out from the HellRaisers side, and they get pulled into a false sense of security, and the Medusa could truck them down with that new, you know, high amount of damage. But oh my god, you blink and you miss it. Old man FNG just evaporated into thin air with that shotgun blast.
Way too many stats and damage on the Morphling right now. Way too many.
Yeah, he is on a full quarantine workout at this point. Just yoked up out of his mind. And with Roche up, this could be the catalyst to allow HellRaisers to secure this game 1. I don't imagine anyone to approach, though top lane while they go for the Roche. Kasani and Miposhka spotted out little Dream. And they both just finished him off. Pretty much a solo job there by Kasani. While the rest of the team gets the Aegis secured for the Morphling.
Oh man, life's not getting easier.
No, it is not.
That was BKB that he still has, but unfortunately, I don't even know if it matters if he has BKB anymore. There's so much damage on this Morphling. He has a Diffusal Blade to try to fight, but it's going into the Death Prophet. That's the real concern right now. She's got 2,700 HP. Like, this is not an easy kill for them whatsoever. And they have time lapse for Weaver.
Yeah.
The
Can't
Ags.
forget the time lapse. Oh,
It's
my
16-second, 0 mana. That's insane.
That's easily twice in a fight.
Yes.
That's easily twice in a fight.
100%.
Oh,
and the
my
Dusa,
goodness.
the Courier, it gets sniped.
No!
Funix a genius.
Wait.
Funix is straight up genius.
Why would they have the courier of that one? Because they were already guarding
Because
the other
they're
one.
already guarding the other one.
Oh my god.
Funix is just the smartest person in this game.
He worships the moon, but that's big brain moon thinking right there. Oh boy.
Ooh. Now they march towards bottom. Medusa, she's got the gold for the rapier and she can't get it. So look what she's doing. She's going to smoke all the way around, but she won't have a TP for this Dakota. Like, she has to get it, and her TP is flying out to her, I believe.
Oh.
Like, I don't even see...
Is she even going to be able
no,
to
she
be
doesn't
here
have a
for the
courier, remember.
defense?
She doesn't have a courier. I just remembered.
She grabs the rapier, and she's going to do the long run back to defend. Team, just
I'm
hold out.
so
I'll be
confused
there.
right now.
I will be there with the rapier team. Just hold out. Don't let them take the Rex. I'm coming.
They're going to give up a set of Rex
She will
for
not
this.
be there in time to defend. She is slow running back the rapier.
I was like, oh, she bought a TP, but then I realized that I was the one that called her courier dying, and I realized that you just can't get back in time, so they just give up a full set of racks for free.
Don't worry, it's not megas yet. There is one more Rex in that top lane standing.
Oh man, GPK. That was an aggressive maneuver. The smoke play out just to get your rapier.
I mean, this is really it. This is all you have now if you're Gambit.
They have no glyph, and it's a ranged Rax at 200 HP. No neutral item to help them with that situation.
Yeah, it's not easy, Blitz. That's for sure. It's a tall order, but Gambit never say die, and they know they gotta give it the old college try, if you will.
Yeah, with the rapier, I think you give it at least one more effort.
But I'm sure HellRaisers are going to know this, and they're just prepping. But I imagine the call to action will happen before this Aegis does expire, so here we go. It's been drawn out. Kasani says push out mid lane, we'll push out top lane, and go for the final blow. Kasani's going to try to swing in through the mid lane possibly here.
Yeah, they've got this Aegis morph. They might just wait the 20 seconds for the Death Prophet Exorcism. I don't know if they want to just be absolutely sure. GPK does have that rapier, and they know it. So just wait a minute.
Just 10 more seconds. And the creep wave.
Oh, okay,
and
no,
we'll
he's
go.
just going to go. All right, he's got it.
Oh.
That's Mega Creeps.
Okay. That's Megas. Not game yet, though. Do you think they'll try to go for a fight while the Aegis is here?
Yeah, I think so. You just wait for some creeps, though. Like, you just got the Megas, so wait for the advantage, right? Like, the creeps are really strong, and they'll soak up a lot of damage. Oh, boy. Gambit, you've got one fight in you. GPK doesn't have buyout. He bought out a Crystallis, too. He can't buy back, I should say.
All in the damage.
He bought everything that he could for this one fight.
Morph doesn't have a BKB, so still subject to Will-O-Wisp. Same for the Death Prophet.
They have 2 buybacks, and it's the Tusk and the Bloodseeker.
Bloodseeker already loses half of his life to one shotgun blast.
He's going to salve. Yeah, and Kasani with...
Muso poke at him a bit. It's a bit awkward.
He's got a medallion for himself.
HR just using full space here. They are just jabbing at the tower. Not close. Staying split apart.
Oh, Vampire went in. He has buyback, though.
Is there.
He's instantly going to buy back in.
If they make their commitments for the Death Prophet, the Morph will be free and vice versa. So they have to make their commitments on one or the other if they even want to commit. But I guess now the Aegis has expired. HellRaisers are probably a little more cautious on how they want to close it out.
I think they can still go for this because the Medusa doesn't have buyback. Like, if Medusa had buyback in, like, another Rapier, I would say maybe be careful.
She's going to have it soon. It's just under 1,000 gold.
It's just the Rapier, once she loses it, that I think the game ends.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, boy.
Patience from Gambit to...
40 seconds. You might as well wait it out again.
Not just drop their ultis too early. Oh, goodness. Bloodseeker has to get bailed out with a Glimmer and a Salve. FNG's like, I got the salves, so you don't have to run the extra steps to Fountain.
Octarine Core now on Death Prophet. Buyback status in this game. Bloodseeker has one, Weaver has one, Miposhka has one. Everyone else is just buying whatever they can. It's a fire sale.
Still, respect from HellRaisers on this one. They're not just going to battering ram their way down one lane. They are trying to split apart Gambit so that they have to decide their ult commitments to one side or the other. And they will lose Tusk. Nyx finds that opening. Ooh, jump in. Oh, ho, ho. They were ready for that. It looks like they commit the Rupture. And that's when the Exorcism gets called out. Beastmaster is in a lot of trouble. Has to back out.
It's their base, though.
Committed the Stone Gaze. Morphling fights them under the fountain, but that's when Kasani's just going to go in and go for the real objective at hand. The Ancient is fully exposed. The Glyph has got to be pulled out.
GPK, you've got to come out and fight.
Get out there,
There's
lady.
so many creeps.
Go for it.
Please.
She's forced to fight. What can we do? FNG doesn't have any more Will-O-Wisp. Oh, Gambit.
The time lapse. She's out of mana. That's going to be the game.
That's going to be it. GG's been called. Oh. Unfortunately, a long, painful bit of torture there for Gambit. But HellRaisers do manage to close it out in a pretty solid showing. They knew what they had to